Greetings, those that are coming in love and light, high vibes and positivity. I welcome you. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Thanks for the love. Whoever's sending the love. Greetings. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming in here on TikTok Live at the one and only. Raw, rare, real, tried and true. Bloom from within love. I go by Bloomy. Happy Friday. If you're logging in live, of course. If you're coming on YouTube later, then just happy whenever. Okay? I'm going to have some fun with y'all. Thought-provoking questions. Thought-provoking topics. Now I want to add a couple disclaimers here. I want to share a couple announcements here. Hold on. I'm going to turn down my music here. So, for those of you who were on the live pertaining to divine feminine people being afraid of you and avoiding you because of your psychic abilities or because you predicted something or whatever, okay, that premiere is currently running on YouTube. So if you're interested in being able to see that again, it's currently playing out. So if you're already subscribed to me, then just go over there. If not, click on the YouTube icon in the bio section. It'll take you over there. Subscribe, blah 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 blah, and you should see it. It should be coming up in the news feed. Okay. Just for those of you who were interested in seeing that again. Okay. So that's that. Okay. It was something else I wanted to announce. Okay, so that's going boom, bitch. Okay. So anyway, another another friendly reminder to my high vibers here, okay, on TikTok. I just want to address those of you who are really like decent folks and you're sincere and you support and you like and you share and you make comments, okay? If you're making comments on the shorts currently, you may notice that there's nothing showing. It's not coming up. And that's because I have a privacy setting on there that requires I have to go back and I have to screen them out and then decide if I want to approve them. Okay. And I haven't had the time, just to be honest, in the last few months with screening the TikTok shorts. Okay. But I just wanted to say that I'm not ignoring anybody. Not my high vibers, okay? The toxics, they already know. I don't even need to address them. But my high vibers, you know, I'm not being weird. I'm not being funny. I'm not like that at all. But I just haven't had a chance, okay? So hang in there and bear with me. Starting sometime in February, I'll have a little more time. And so I'll go back and look through. And then I'll be more on top of it. So you all will see your comments. And I will respond accordingly and all of that, okay? To the subscribers, those of you who were divinely guided, those of you who have subscribed from a pure place of your heart, I just want to say thank you. Okay, thank you. Welcome. I appreciate you. Y'all's going to see your benefits really kicking in February, okay? You all will have a front row seat to a lot of things. You'll have an opportunity to come live on with me. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions, be a part of discussions. Your voice will be heard. Also, you guys will have like card readings where I'll do a card for you or things like that. That's specifically for the subscriber group. Okay. So hang in there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. So now moving past all of the formalities here. As you're coming in, you see Wwjd, okay? This other disclaimer that I need to share is most of you that have followed me or subscribed and have viewed my things long enough, then you know I don't subscribe to organized man-made religion. I do not. I am aware of truths behind all of that. There's a reason why you guys don't really hear me share or say things like in a classical way. But I do have fun with using the things in which they use. And let me tell you why. So when you guys hear me talk about, bringing up biblical texts or man-made religious text, and sharing from that place, I'm only doing that not because I'm trying to imply that that's me or that I necessarily fully agree. Okay? I agree with practical principles that you find there and how they apply. But I share it because it's an oxymoron. It's this hypocritical double standard energy. So since they choose to use biblical text, I use the very thing in which they're trying to use that they themselves don't fully understand and that they themselves don't live. And I do that because getting people out of stupors. Because we have all gone around and just saying things, regurgitating things and all of this, but these blindness, this blind spots, these omissions and all of these things. So I'm highlighting and I'm calling them out. Because these are the same people, like I said, they have this on their bumper sticker. They have it in their, the rear shield, mirror of their vehicle, things hanging from there. They, all sorts of stuff. It's full on their social media. But when it comes to living up to being like a truly decent being outside of any payoff that they think they're going to get, or as it relates to their group and posse, it ain't there. We used to hear the common statements, Wwjd. Those of you who've been in religious circles, you know what that means. And I'm using this because don't you guys look, as you look in retrospect at your life and then people try to go about acting like how they're so concerned about you being on the wrong path or doing the wrong things, air quotes, right? These are the people that say prayers and over their supper, grace. These are the people who, these are religious formalities that these people practice. Okay? When they leave, their favorite quotes are about Jesus and his blood. But who are they, though? What are they actually like? Wwjd. I think it used to mean, what would Jesus do? WWJT, what would Jesus think? Right? People wear it like a badge of honor. Smug and pretentious. So let's play with it. Let's have fun. Ask yourself the question, does that apply to the things in which that they're not trying to use in their own favor? Or it only applies to how they want to use it, when they want to use it, as it suits them? Does it apply to criminal activity against people or not? I want a yes or a no. I want a yes or a no. No clearing the throat and all of that. Does it apply? WWJD. Does that apply to the criminal activity against innocent lives as well? Or does it only apply to which how they're trying to further their own agenda and cause. WWJD, does it apply only to those that are like them, that they like, that they agree with, that they approve of? I want a yes or a no. WWJD, see, I'm using it because this is what they use. WWJD, does it apply to physically harming people out of our own personal irritations, frustration, insecurity, or no? WWJD, does it apply to all cultures or only the cultures that we approve of? WWJD, what is that? Or is that just something cute people say to look deep and spiritual with no real intention of ever actually fully living up to it? WWJD, does this apply to character assassination of innocent lives or no? WWJD, yeah. See, if we don't come out of the shallow end of things, and because we hear people going around quoting stuff like that, and it sounds cute and spiritual, haven't you guys ever found it ironic? Oh, they're concerned, those of you who are on an awakened path, but they're not concerned about the whores and the thieves and the addicts and the reckless lifestyles. They're concerned for you. They're worried about you, clean and sober, minding your business, a decent person, but they're not concerned about criminally insane individuals, killing people, beating up people, lying on people, stealing from people, doing shit to innocent, vulnerable populations. They're not concerned about that. Huh? They're not concerned about that. The addicts, the drunks. But they're concerned about you? Huh. Hypocrisy. And it's a cover-up. It ain't no damn concern. Because they be sitting there laughing and hee-hee and ha-ha and partying behind bullshit. So they're not concerned. It's a cover-up. Because WWJD, what would he be more concerned with then? I'm using what they use. Hell, in the texts they read, the portions in which is accurate about him, about Yeshua, he himself even said, why are you worried about formality, about rules and regulations? What is the greater matter? He was calling them out on their fake spiritual. Yeshua? How come, the rules, here it is, the rules say, and it says in the rules, and it says in the book, and it says in the rules, and you, and why come, and how come, and whoop-de-whoop. You called them out. You're full of shit. What are you worried about? What's the real deal here? What's the greater matter? Is it perhaps your loss of control? Is it perhaps jealousy, greed? What are you really worrying about? Why are you over here trying to tell me about some text? Wwjd. Do any of them live up to this? Or is it only applying to their own group? Wwjd. Do they think he would just perhaps not care about the injustices done to the widow and the orphan because of their own selfishness? The convenience. People better wake up. The things people are saying and regurgitating. I told you guys the irony of things that people have said to me, individuals in which I knew were a part of fuckery, all at the same time would try to say to me, I believe in Jesus. Do you indeed? Do you know who he is, or you're about the program version, you see? Because your behavior tells me differently. How are you going to say these things while scheming all at the same time? Would he do that? Oh, they're not going to tell you that. See, this is why I say what I say. Would he do that? Would he approve of that? Wwjd. They only use it when they're trying to weaponize their target. But when it comes to the practical, applicable, benevolent truths behind any of these principles, everybody's clearing their throat. Wwjd. We'll even apply this to the omitting of doing the right thing. See, it's not just about the acts, it's the failed ones as well. But these are the ones that want to say, I believe in Jesus. Do you? Do you even know who he is? Do you even know what it actually represents? Because I kind of think that it would be a problem with some of the behaviors of these individuals. Wwjd. Again, my disclaimer, you guys know I don't subscribe to man-made organized belief systems based on this fear, ego-based 3D programming. I've resigned But the practical principles based on ascended masters that these people use and speak of, then I will use to show them their hypocrisy. The same thing he did. They had a whole lot to say with their scrolls and their regurgitating of where they think they came from. But they were wrong. Severely. It was always on his helmet. It's the same shit. Because he wasn't a conformist. Of the religious establishment. Did you hear me? Of the religious establishment. Did you hear me? Of the religious establishment. Did you hear me? Of the religious establishment. Of the time. Always had something to say. Always on his helmet. Bounty hunting him. And anyone like him. Demonizing him and anyone like him. Trying to trick and get caught up. Trying to get him tricked and caught up. And anyone that was like him, same shit. The same shit is playing out. Yeshua, how come you're supposed to wash your hands? Are you really want to be in my face about washing some damn hands? What is the greater matter? We're not supposed to do stuff on this certain day. Is that what the real issue is? Or is it because you couldn't control it? You're not supposed to let women... Got on his damn nerves, man. But he was like, Like, these motherfuckers, I'm out, bitch. The hypocrisy. Sounds cute. It sounds spiritual. It sounds deep. Wwjd. But are these people applying this? Or just saying it? Are they picking and choosing? Well, I want to apply it today. I don't want to apply it tomorrow. I want to apply it to this group. I don't want to apply it to that group. I want to apply it to the people that I like. I do not want to apply it to the people that I don't. Wwjd. I'm sure he'll have a real problem with hurting innocent lives. I'm sure of it. I don't need to have a prayer line or a meeting or a Reiki session to understand that. Wwjd. I'm sure he'd have a problem with any form of abuse and misuse of power. I'm 100% absolute. I'm sure he'd have a problem with mistreatment, willful and intentional mistreatment of others based on our own ego and insecurity. I'm 100% sure he won't be celebrating it, high-fiving it. Because somebody can preach from... I'm sure of it. I'm sure he's got a problem. With folks' kin, doing harm to their own kin. I'm 100% certain that he ain't celebrating, high-fiving, doing none of that to none of their ass. I'm sure he has a problem. I'm sure he's got a problem with pedophile. I'm sure he has a problem with energetic rape. I'm sure he has a problem. And he ain't impressed by somebody quoting some text. I'm sure of it. I'm sure he has a problem with attempted murder. Then going to church on Sunday singing the Hallelujah chorus. I'm sure he has a problem. Since people want to say Wwjd, well, let me tell you. I'm sure he has a problem with people who are cowardly, hiding, and protecting wicked individuals that do wicked things to innocent lives. And he don't care nothing about none of what motherfuckers saying about no text. If we want to get real here. Wwjd. People are professional at creating a professional social media presence, finding beautiful pictures to upload. But their conduct is shit. Their heart, as even he would say, wicked. Dead men's bones. I'm sure he'd have a problem. Gossip. I kind of think he would. And then smile in the people's face. Yeah, I kind of think he ain't with that. Because he ain't no punk. You heard? And he certainly don't have a weak character. He's not impressed with formalities. And this is what goes over people's head. See, the things that are there in the books in which these people read, the things that are relevant, they miss. Because he also said, what you have done to the least of these, you did to me. Did you hear me? He didn't say what you've done to your church neighbor, your posse and your crew and or the population in which you want to use to show that you're a humanitarian. He said, what you've done. Why is the verbiage least used? Because it's referencing people that humanity has a tendency to feel like don't fucking matter. Or whoever humanity thinks that they're better than, these particular groups, societies, families. They think erroneously, by the way, that they're better than. What you've done to the least you've done to me. So you might as well stop quoting. What you've done to the disabled community, what you've done to the elderly community, what you've done to people that you're jealous of, what you've done, 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 what you've done. To the least you've done to me. So might as well take the post down because you're not living it. Wwjd. It's a cover-up these people use. Where were their concern? See, most of these people, collective, said all these things. They were not concerned for you when you was a hellion like them. They weren't concerned when you was doing toxic fucked up shit like them. They weren't talking that jazz. They weren't talking that jazz to now nobody. They weren't talking that jazz so long as you were under their thumb and control. They were not talking that jazz. Because the truth of the matter is, these people could care less. They become concerned, and I say air quote so-called concerned, when you are liberated and free, and it poses as a threat to expose the truth and the reality about who they really are. So now they want to use religion and biblical texts that they can't live, that they don't live, that they never have outside of grace, Easter, Christmas, and emergencies. You all know I don't have a religious bent, but I will use what they use to expose their hypocrisy. You guys hear me make statements over time about, see, for me and those that are awakening and healing, it comes down to the very simple things. It's very basic. It's very simple. It's not as complex because it's about being a decent being. It's about operating from a love frequency. It's about balance and order and respect for all. It's about that. It's not so much about perfection, about needing to subscribe to this and that. And once you I don't even know what that is, but you step into knowing that, okay? You kind of get out of the way of these kind of petty fights and arguments, and you start to look at, listen, at the end of the day, how are you treating people? Because otherwise, whatever you think you are, whatever you think you believe, it's bullshit. Because if you are okay with doing bad things or toxic things or harmful things, whatever verbiage is comfortable for you, but if you're in a frequency of being okay with that based on your belief or based on your own whatever the hell is going on inside of you, then it ain't nothing. And if you're just picking and choosing, then that's another thing. Then it ain't nothing. If you're picking and choosing and trying to weaponize and use things for your own personal bent, then that's again exposure. If you're okay and turn a blind eye to injustices, but then want to say Wwjd, then what the hell? What is that? And see, and this is where we get, once we start that process and we commence to make a journey of self-love, self-discovery, working on the self, ascending, trying to be a decent being, standing your own lane, blah, 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 blah. But then folks like that, folks like us, we become the target to these very people that go about quoting Wwjd. I'm sure he has a problem with bullying. I'm sure, I'm saying this collectively because this is the text that they want to use. So then let's go here. I'm sure he has a problem with cyber stalking. I am sure he has a problem with trolling. I am sure he has a problem with bullying. I am sure come on. I am sure. So let's not play this. This is why I kind of smirk when I hear like people that are in a certain lifestyle and then they want us to be talking about WWJD and cross this bitch. I'll be like, if you don't get out of my face, I'll go on from here with that. Because before you was saying this, you was over here plotting somebody's death. So help me understand that. Before you were saying this, you and 3 other motherfuckers was over there planning and plotting to beat up somebody. So dismiss me with that. Before you were saying this, last night you were over there getting high with shit that's killing you. Dismiss me with this. Before you were saying this, you were fooling around with your daughter's husband or your son's wife behind their back. So dismiss me with that. It's about heart. It's about our heart. It's about our frequency. It's about our intentions. There's no one perfect. I say this because people, they take it to the left and go, well, what is she saying? No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about intentions and motivations and decency. We're not talking about, okay, well, which subscription do you subscribe to? We're talking about decency. Because what is all of this other stuff worth if we're not employing being decent? And not only when it's convenient, and not only as it pertains to our particular groups. It's a program. And it's trauma and other things. But to those who are starting to see and understand, they're starting to see and understand and applying accordingly. But I say these things and I have these discussions to only further help actually vindicate and validate those of you who are awakening and letting you know, no, you're not crazy. You were the target and the scapegoat. You're not. You see through the illusion and the bullshit and the falsity and the hypocrisy. You know, people are weaponizing things for their own gain, weaponizing religion and weaponizing spirituality and using it for their own personal gain, and then trying to simultaneously weaponize it to get rid of anyone who can see through them. Who knows the dark secrets. We all have a story, collective, and I hope I try hard to share that this is not about shaming. I try hard to bring a balance because everybody's got a story, everybody's got a history, everybody has been down some kind of path to the enlightenment and awakening that's looked probably like bloody hell. And we have all made mistakes. And in our sleep state, in our wounded states, have went down paths or connected with things and people that didn't mean us well and wasn't good for us. In our process of development through the dark nights of the soul as young adults. So this is not about that. It's about how we treat people, folks, and how we show up in this world. And who are we today? And who are we continually becoming? Not what do we do on Sunday and Wednesday? Not, what chapter have we read today? Not what Reiki circle have we been to today? It's about who are we and who are we becoming every day and how we're showing up in this world and how we're treating people, period. Whether we're getting a personal payoff from something or not, or we can have our clenches onto somebody because, see, again, that's that objectifying narcissistic energy. Whether they are part of our posse or whether they're a part of our posse or not. That's what this is about. Compassion, true compassion, not learned fake empathy from studying those who are empathetic. True empathy, true compassion. Because if we don't have that, we might as well shut up. And I'm just going to keep it real. If we are not operating from that, if we don't have that truly, and I mean truly, we might as well shut up. Because going around saying Wwjd ain't going to change the reality about who we are and what we're really doing in any karmic ramification connected to it. Law of the universe, cause and effect. And if we're being evil and wicked and malicious to people, even if we're managing to hide this to the masses, it's not going to change. It's not. People are fooled. The universe isn't. Our ancestors aren't. Our higher self isn't. Divine source light isn't. 3D beings are. See, in different phases and stages of my life, and even now, When I'm unsure, because I have thoughts and opinions and views like the next person, right? I don't know everything like the next person, right? That's not going to change as long as I'm on Earth School. But what I've learned and continue to learn even more is that, well, when you're unsure, because the fact is we're all on different timelines, different developmental levels, and all sorts of things. So it's kind of dangerous to get into trying to, how do you say? I'm looking for a certain word, because what I have learned how to do is try to stay as neutral as I can. Because if someone hasn't, unless someone has crossed me or my son, or, you know what I'm saying, what's mine, or, you know what I'm saying, unless someone has, that I'm aware of, has personally did some kind of woo, right? I try to stay neutral in areas of where it's like, me, okay, I don't know that information. Well, before I try to cast a judgment call on it, I'll stay in neutral and I'll say, well, you know, everybody's on a different path. You know, if it pertains to me and something I need to know, higher self, you're going to help me get to that in divine order. But what I'm not going to do, though, is get on some kind of bandwagon group, okay, because it's not really my jurisdiction. Because there may be things there that I don't know yet. So until I see some malicious behavior, because see, me, my personal journey is I stand for justice, bitch. I stand for justice. That's my driving force. So, you know, when it comes to violating people, that's where people will see the war come out of me, like, rah. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't give a fuck about all this other shit. We're talking about justice and fairness for all. But outside of that, then just because I myself may not see something a certain way, or that's not my particular thing, or whatever, woo-de-woo, or that's not what I gather of it, and you woo-de-woo, well, hell, that's their journey. That ain't mine. See, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about maturity, man. And we can end up misjudging a divine soul or a beautiful soul or a pure heart based on our limitations and get ourselves in a world of heat, especially if we cross them lines. This is why it doesn't serve to get caught up in any type of witch hunt, because ooh, I don't want to get into that. That's another video. We need to be concerned about people that are doing fucked up shit. See, that's instead of arguing for hours and hours about text that nobody's living. We need to be concerned about justice for all. The fucked up shits that's happening to innocent lives, and the vulnerable populations, and just, you know, that instead of we want to fight for 5 hours about text that 90% of motherfuckers ain't living. Yeah, I said that. Do you see how it's a distraction? See, now I'm getting into a whole nother topic that I'll have to wait for another video, because it's designed to be a distraction. It's designed that way on purpose. It's designed to keep people fighting and distracted and looking everywhere else. Meanwhile, all of these things right up under our noses is going on. So playing on the ego of humans that have not got that in check. It's a distraction. Let's fight. Make them fight. Make them fight behind religion. Make them fight behind culture. Make them fight behind ethnicity. Make them fight behind this. Make them fight behind that. Make them argue for 12 hours on this and make them argue that. Meanwhile, under their nose, right up under their nose, they're sleeping with the enemy. Wwjd. The last thing I'm going to say about that is, well, if we want to use that, what do you all think he would do? WWJT, what do you all think he would think if he knew and if he had a seat to have a discussion on some of the shit these motherfuckers are about?